Hi, this is Joachim from Elastics. Today I am going to show you how to set up high availability and disaster protection for your website. We are going to use 3 different cloud services to achieve this. A monitoring service from 24/7, a content delivery network from Cloudflare, and a platform as a service from Gelastic. So we are Elastics and we are a Gelastic hosting provider partner here in Sweden, as you can see there in the map. So how is this going to work then? Well, first of all, we are going to set up 2 websites, and you want to do that at 2 different locations or 2 different regions or anything that is, well, very redundant from each other. So in this example, we could set up one site here in our platform here in Sweden, and the other site here in the US, for example. Then we are going to set up our domain name service in the Cloudflare content delivery network and configure that. So when you are going to browse to these sites, you will actually first access the content delivery network service, and then they will redirect traffic to the active sites. So in this example, we are going to look at an active access solution, so it actually with low balance traffic to both sites. But you can also configure an active passive configuration, so all traffic would primarily go to the site in Sweden, for example, and if there is a problem, the site in US will take over the load. At the same time, we will have the monitoring service here from site24x7. They have multiple nodes around the world that monitors your sites. So that will actually make sure that the sites are up and running. And if there is a problem, for example, the site in the US goes down here, then site24x7 we will set up so we will modify the configuration in Cloudflare to make it not send any data to the US site anymore, as that one is down. And when the site is up and gone, we will just remove that configuration and continue to send traffic to the US again. Okay, let's take a look on how to do this. So this is the control panel. In this demo, I've just set up, configured 2 sites here locally on our platform. For the demo purposes, it doesn't matter, but normally you would set up one site here, for example, and one site in the US location or any other location. And I've just named them Site 1 and Site 2. They have a public IP address of 123 in the end there, and this one has 124. And I'm using public IP addresses, and you have to do that if you want an active solution. If you want an active passive, you can actually use a CNAME and just use a shared IP instead. If I surf down to the Site 1 here, I will just get a page that says Site 1, and if I do it to Site 2, well, you probably guessed it, yeah, Site 2. So what you do is go into Cloudflare, register an account, and move your domain to the Cloudflare name service. You want to do that just to make Cloudflare in control of the domain and also be able to protect your DNS servers from attacks, and also make it available, as it will be available on all their domain servers around all over the world. And if I go into this configuration, DNS settings here, I have configured 2 A records. So this is to Site 1 and this is to Site 2. and also just a CNAME to handle www. What you need to collect for other type of information here is on the account. You will check your API key. You need that to access the API. And when you have the API, so we are using the API to get a list of the IDs of my records. So I need that, and I need the API key to be able to configure everything. So I have this is the record for site A, site 1, with this IP address 123, and here I find the rec ID, and then I go down to site 2 and that IP address, and I see the rec ID there as well. Okay, now I have what I need to configure monitoring. So you need to sign up an account at site24x7. They have a free plan as well, but you can't use the free plan for this, because the free plan, then you can't do custom action alerts. On the Cloudflare service, you can actually be fine with the free plan, but then you can upgrade if there are any additional features that you need. But for this demo and all the features we're using, the free plan is fine. So what you will start with is actually to set up a couple of alerts actions. So here I have prepared. So in an active configuration, we have 4 actions, 2 actions for each site. If you are doing an active passive solution, you only need 2 actions for the first site. So look at the configuration on these. So this is just a URL to the Cloudflare API, and here are the settings that we are doing. So when the site goes down, we log in here and modify this record with this ID, and we just change that. So instead of pointing that to our site, we will just mark that as failed instead. So then we will actually have a domain name called failed that we can access and use that for troubleshooting as well, which is pretty nice. So if we go back here, the only difference with the action that we will use when the site is back up is that we will add the record back to gelastic.se. Okay, so if we want to try this, we could actually just go here, and I'm just going to show you that it actually works as well. So if I go to gelastic.se, I now got to site number 2. So then I will go here and I will stop site number 2, stopping that service. It's done. So go back to the monitoring, and I will look at the overview of monitoring here. And while we are waiting for this to pick up that the site is down, we can go in and look at the configuration here. So I just set up the address to the local site. So I'm using the IP address here, as the IP address is the one that we are redirecting traffic to. Do a check frequency of 1 minute, but you can, well, it's custom, you just select what you want. You can have multiple location checking for availability. As we are located here in Sweden, I just choose the Sweden site. Then you have to enter the advanced configuration, and down here you will activate these custom actions that we configured. So when the site 1 down, we will execute that when this site goes down, and site 1 up will execute that when the site comes back up. Okay, so very easy. And here you can do much more things. You can have content checking on the website and make sure everything works as it should. So very, very easy and quite powerful service. So get back to the overview. So there is okay, so the site is down and the monitoring system has alerted me about that. And let's go back to the Cloudflare and check the records here, see if something happened. Yeah, and now you can see that the second site that we brought down we don't route any traffic from gelastic.se to that site anymore. We're just using failed2 instead. So if you would have an error code or something strange on the site instead, you can actually just surf into failed2.gelastic.se and you can do troubleshooting and check the site, while all normal traffic would actually go to gelastic.se. So if we go here and do a reload on gelastic.se, we will be directed to site number 1 instead. So if we start site number 2 here again, doing that, then it's up and running again. I can just check that it's available. Yeah, it's available. Then we can go back to the monitoring. Yep, the site is back online, and then you can go back again here and do an update on your records. Whoops, was logged out. And you can see that the record is changed back to its original. So now we have 2 active sites again, and traffic is passed to both sites. So I don't know which site I will go to now, but yep, I was sent to site 2 again. Okay. So this is an extremely easy way to set it up, and also very, very powerful. The only thing we haven't shown you here is how to set up, well, data replication between the sites, but it's hard to cover in a single session because it kind of depends a lot on the type of application you are using and also the type of database. But we are happy to help you if you have any questions there or want to have help on setting that up. So any questions or anything, just go to our webpage elastics.com and you can just, well, send us an email or give us a call. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye bye.